Alright, taking a right-hand turn onto Jacks Creek Road here from Highway 19 going westbound. Haven't been up this road yet. Actually, ever. This is my first time ever going up this road. You can tell from the mud lines how high the water from that river over there went. It's up over the road. It is December 25th, Christmas Day 2024. I was supposed to be visiting with the in-laws in Florida today, but the wife and I have been quite sick for the last week or so we had to cancel that trip. I don't know if being sick is storm-related or not, but I have heard a lot of people saying that they are not feeling as healthy or as well after the storm. You can probably see the original bridge to that farm has been taken out. They had a little temporary one through the creek. I've seen several hundred locations like this right here where the soil underneath the road is just washed away. That sign on the right was for Twin Oak Ridge Road. It looks as though there were crops planted in this field to the right of me. They're pretty much obliterated. Just ruined farm equipment and mud down there. Wow, this is a lot of ruined crops through here. I really appreciate all of those who have watched my videos and subscribed. I never thought that I would get so many views, but I've been a Western North Carolina resident my entire life, and it's nice that so many people care about the area. That was evident in the first weeks after the storm when there were just floods of volunteers pouring in, kind of the honeymoon phase, if you will. But the care continues to show through people watching videos like this. My YouTube channel has recently gotten monetized, so anything that I make through that will go directly to Hurricane Helene victims. We're now riding on Pound Mill Branch Road. We'll turn around up here in a little bit and go back to Claremont and then to Jacks Creek Road. Alright, we're back riding on Jacks Creek Road. Still tons of power lines down around here 3 months later. There's that ruined, muddied up farm there. I know that their bridge up here got destroyed, but they've poured in tons of gravel and a couple of culverts and made a new way across the creek. Here's another new bridge. I think that's 4 or 5 new bridges I've counted today. New bridge number 6. This is Patterson Branch Road. I'm doing a little back and forth riding on the side roads around Jacks Creek. One of the things that demonstrates the power of the floodwaters so much is pieces of metal, like from that bridge that we just passed. Structural members from bridges and miles of guardrail just crumpled up and washed away, like miles away from their original location. That's Butterfly Road on the left. A difficult catastrophe like this really brings out either the good or the bad in people. It's overwhelmingly been good. I would have to say that This has been one of the best experiences with people that I've ever experienced. A lot of people saw the opportunity to help and they took that opportunity. And some people saw an opportunity to take advantage and they took the wrong opportunity. One of my neighbors who had to evacuate his house had someone go in while they were gone and take his checkbook and successfully make out a check to himself. You might think, well, why would you leave your checkbook? But these neighbors had to be evacuated by helicopter, and of course, no one expected it to be this bad. On the left, you see the South Bend Free Will Baptist Church. I've seen a lot of gnarly damage today, but I think this is the first just full-on road washout I've seen. I think I just rode over at least a quarter of a mile of completely washed out blacktop. I think that's bridge number 8 I've counted today. You gotta imagine all these people who regularly would cross bridges to get to their homes. They were stuck for quite a while, and I know of some that it was close to 2 months that they were not able to drive their car to their house. If they still had a car, that is. We're still riding on Jacks Creek Road. I think we should be getting fairly close to where it connects with the Tow River Road. There's some more flood-disabled cars. I think that's definitely still a huge need in the area. Every time I go out, I see several completely mangled up vehicles, and I know that a lot of people have donated vehicles, but it's still a need. I think a good resource can be the Western North Carolina community's social media pages that they have set up. You'll see people on there saying that they lost their car and they're not asking for anything fancy or money. They just need transportation. And you can see by all the mangled up vehicles everywhere, that's absolutely true. I'm sure there's a couple of scammers and bad actors out there, but there is a need for cars and campers, for sure. Alright, we've made it to the end of Jacks Creek Road, and now we're on the Tow River Road, heading east towards the Green Mountain area. These bits of trash stuck in the trees on my right here, I guess that's an indication of how high the water level rose. Absolutely unbelievable. This was someone's residence right here. We've now entered right into the heart of the little town known as Green Mountain, North Carolina. I'm sure you'll notice the campers that I'm passing. Most of these are not campers that people have just had for fun. These have become necessities. A lot of people who are now in a camper were probably recently in a tent, so if you went from a tent to a camper for Christmas, that's a great Christmas present this year. Here's where the Tow River Road meets Highway 197. I rode on Highway 197 there a couple of weeks ago, so we'll turn around here and go back through Green Mountain. We've seen lots of new small residential bridges today, but this is the first really big bridge I've seen today that was destroyed. Of course, that one's not so easy to build back as quick. It's to access those industrial buildings over there on the other side of the river. And also there's train tracks that are over there on the other side of the river. I don't know if you can see it from here, but you can see where they're bent up. There's tons, just so many tons of new gravel and supports for the railroad over there. We are still on the Tow River Road, now turned around and headed back in the west direction. I'd imagine that it's probably true that most people won't see in their whole lifetime the amount of big machines and dump trucks and large earth-moving vehicles that I've seen here in the last 3 months. And I'm so thankful that they are here. They've been sent from lots of other states, and I think even Canada sent some big machinery help as well. I got a new camera mount holder that attaches the camera directly to the bike to experiment with some different camera angles, so sorry if I get some repeated footage and stuff. I'm still working my system out. Like the big machinery, I've never seen so many portable toilets as around as I have the last 3 months. I know that there's still a need for those, and for those to be serviced, of course. My wife works at a school in Burnsville, and one of the boys that attends that school that she works at was luckily staying with family members on the night of Hurricane Helene. But his home and his parents both were completely gone. They did live close to the Tow River and closer to Burnsville. His mother has not been found, and his father was found all the way close to Johnson City. So you've got to imagine that he was carried down this river that we're passing right here today. And for a lot of folks, this will be their first Christmas that they've not have their loved ones around to celebrate with. Imagine that little river on the right getting big enough, swelling up so high that it creates that water line that you can see on my left. Unbelievable. Here's Here's another section of just total washout on the Tow River Road. You can tell that all this big rock ballast is new through here that we're able to ride on. I wonder how many tons of this big ballast rock was brought in here to be able to ride on it. Wow. It is apparent that the DOT is well funded and doing a great job. And of course, I'm so glad that they're fixing the roads this quick. But using all this gravel, it makes it harder for private citizens to get the supplies they need to rebuild their lives, and of course it makes everything more expensive as well, and private citizens can't compete with the state budget. Thank you, excavator, for putting all these rocks here. Not too bad in this exact location, but a lot of this mud is really slimy and slick, kind where you kind of try to turn, but you don't turn. Well, that little river flattened all those trees on my right and brought that mud all the way up way over there on my left. God only knows how many houses were destroyed in the process. I've seen a few different, official numbers of homes that they say were destroyed, and there's no way I could know for sure. I think the numbers they give us do seem low from what I've seen. I Googled how many homes were destroyed by Hurricane Helene in Yancey County a couple of days ago, and it said 1,400, I believe. Hurricane Helene has been pretty big news, especially at first, but with this being an election year, it seems like it's got overshadowed by election stuff, and of course the holiday season as well. But this is still what we're dealing with every day. All right, we're gonna take this bridge and cross over the Tow River. I rode here last year. I'll see if I can find a picture from then. The water was moving so furiously, and at this such a high level, it took out that concrete sidewall and left mud. That mud used to be in the bottom of the river. Last time I rode through here, you would be crossing over railroad tracks right now. But that's a massive section of railroad just completely washed away. I see there on the left some of the old railroad that wasn't washed away. Here's where the Tow River Road meets Highway 197. We'll take a left and go north. We'll get off Highway 197 for a minute and explore up this side road. This is Pigeon Roost Road. Alright, turning around now to go back down to 197. Doesn't look too terrible up here, but you can see there's still some mangled up metal. Good progress on this wall being built to my right. Miles and miles of complete washout through here. We're riding on Highway 197 on the north side of the Tow River, headed west. I'm bummed about missing Christmas with my in-laws, but I guess the 25th today here is a good day to film because there would normally be tons of construction work going on through here, but there's not any today and barely any traffic. Riding around in the last couple of months, I've seen literally thousands of homes destroyed and reduced to piles of rubble and by flooding. And I tried to get flood insurance on my house, but it's not available here. I don't know, it doesn't seem right. I'm sure there's some logical explanation that some insurance guy could give me, but why can we not get flood insurance? Because I tried. It would sure be nice to have right now. I moved from Bat Cave, North Carolina, before I moved to Burnsville. Been living in Yancey County, Burnsville area for over a year now. And when I got the property tax in the mail, I thought it seemed a little bit high. And of course, this was before the storm. But having just moved here, I didn't really know if it was or not. But having heard from many residents who have lived in Yancey County for many years, they say that the tax has gone up a lot this year. That's really unfortunate timing for that. Another thing that's going on that's making it harder on the residents of Western North Carolina is the county and state building codes. People who had been in tents, I know of several that then upgraded to a shed, but then the government applied, the normal standard permanent building code to this current situation and have forced people out of the sheds, which of course was a huge upgrade over a tent. I understand that they have a job to do and they have to keep structures safe, but it seems like they could be more understanding in our current situation. I did watch a video a couple of weeks ago of J.D. Vance. He visited Fairview and he addressed some of these issues about having temporary housing allowed, and he seemed to understand, so hopefully they will act on that when they get into power. Another issue that's making it difficult is the flood zone issue. we're not allowed to build in flood zones, but basically everything is a flood zone here now. But hopefully this is a historic event, the only time that it's happened this bad in recorded history. So I get that the people whose job it is to determine what a flood zone is now, they have a difficult job. The individual people that I've dealt with and that worked for FEMA have been good, but I think it shows that the system is broken at a higher level, that they were so slow and seem to be so underfunded in reacting to this situation. We are very grateful, of course, for the bit of help that has come from FEMA and insurance companies. But for everyone, it really just covers maybe a month or a couple of months of expenses. And when you think about the size of the federal and state budgets, they're huge. A tiny fraction of that devoted to Western North Carolina could really literally save these people's lives. I am getting a bit of money from the insurance company, but sadly our check has been lost in the mail, so we still haven't gotten it. I do feel lucky though, because I know many people who have suffered massive loss and they're not getting a dime from insurance. I do feel, and I think most people feel, that insurance companies and FEMA have really underperformed in this situation, but the support from just individual people and families from our neighboring areas have been amazing. And many charities, Hearts with Hands is a good one, Samaritan's Purse, I've seen their trucks out everywhere doing work. Many churches have stepped up. So there has been some really terrific help and support here, but it really has not come from any government organization or big insurance companies. I think that Western North Carolina is one of the very best places on earth, and that's why I still live here. And of course, lots of tourists love to come to this area too, and while a lot of areas aren't ready for tourism, tourist dollars coming in will be a huge help and a huge factor in helping us rebuild, and especially people who have lost their businesses and are trying to resume with their business. We want visitors, so please come and hike and raft and explore the great towns and food when the time is right. I rode down this road on the right a couple of years ago. It used to be a nice paved road right there where we're looking. Several nice houses along that road. We've still been riding following the North Toe River. This area is known as Relief, North Carolina. That sign over there says to go this way towards Asheville and Irwin and Huntdale. Today, I've seen probably 7 or 8 fuel tanks like that one there on the right. There's another fuel tank to support all the large machinery we have working here. There were several nice homes through here, really no sign of them now. Their big bridge totally taken out up here on the right. You might notice there's some little bits of ice on the rocks through some of this area. I think that's one of the coolest things about exploring this time of year. Just all the icicles and little glaciers covering the cliffs. There's some pieces of the old bridge on the left. There's a house on the right that's somewhat held together. You can tell that it's moved a long ways from its original location. Some nice pretty icicles there on the left. This is another long section of just complete washout. A lot of these areas of road that they've done a great job fixing, almost like starting the road from scratch. And same thing with the power grid. A lot of it is just basically completely redone, starting from scratch. Alright, I believe that the Tow River Road here is running into Highway 197. We'll explore it up this direction for a little ways. I'm going to turn around soon and head back down to the Tow River. Next video I make, I think I'll find an app or something that can record my route and show that for you. I think that would be a cool addition. It looks as though the high water line is basically up to the bottom of that mountain over on my left. I am really glad I was able to get out for a ride today. It turned out to be a beautiful, sunny Christmas day. There's so much more area that I want to cover and document, but of course I've just been overwhelmed trying to take care of my own storm damage and make sure I have enough money to keep paying for the house that I can't stay in. Here's another bridge taken out on the right. Nice strong one with concrete and rebar just washed away. There's a hay bale in the creek. I wonder how many of those have been lost and floated away miles and miles away. You can see where the water line went all the way up to those trees over on the other side of the river. We've gone, I think, from Highway 197 to Huntdale, and then now coming up soon we'll be on 19 West. We've got the Bunkhouse and Bird's Chapel Baptist Church there on the left. Everyone welcome, their sign says. That's Cox's Creek Road on the left. There's some pieces of the old bridge. Wonder how hard those were to recover. Here's more miles of complete washout of the old blacktop road that was here. I'm so glad I haven't laid my bike down in any of this mud. Some of it is really slippery. Definitely not a place to be riding a street bike. We are still on Highway 19 westbound, I believe, and just miles and miles of washout. And pretty much most places through here had metal guardrail. That guardrail is washed out for miles. Alright, getting back onto 19 westbound. I'm not totally sure what all these side roads that I go down are called, because I probably lost definitely thousands of little road signs. There's Baxter Road. Alright, we're getting close to getting down to 19, where we'll go east, 19, the main 4-lane highway. We are almost done with our ride today, almost back home. Thank you for watching, thank you for helping, and Merry Christmas. Alright, gonna turn left here onto 19, if that light will ever change. We've come through Burnsville. There's a sign for Spruce Pine, Bakersville, and Red Hill. There's the old location of Heritage Tire. I used to always go there, but he's now moved to 80, close to Micaville.